Well, all eyes on a Montgomery County courtroom today where a judge will consider dismissing the case against Catherine Hoggle, who is charged with the murders of her two young children. It's a mysterious case that Fox 5 has been leading the way on from the start. Their dad is here with us and will join us in just a minute. But first, let's get you caught up on the timeline. Back in 2014, 2-year-old Jacob and 3-year-old Sarah went missing. Their mother, Catherine Hoggle, is charged with misdemeanors. Then in 2015, a judge rules Hoggle incompetent to stand trial. She's diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. In 2017, Hoggle is indicted on 2 murder charges. Various proceedings continue for the next 2 years. Then, just last month, the defense filed a motion to dismiss the case, citing a Maryland law that limits the amount of time a defendant can be held if they're found incompetent to stand trial. And while this plays out in courts, there's still no trace of Jacob and Sarah. This morning, their father, Troy Turner, joins us in studio. Troy, as you have throughout the years, being an advocate for your missing children, good morning.
Good morning.
An emotional day.
Yes.
How are you feeling going into this hearing today, and what are your plans when you speak on behalf of your children?
I guess feelings is a lot of frustration, a lot of anger, and honestly a lot of confusion. I'm not really even sure how we get to this point in something like this. You know, in terms of speaking on their behalf, it's the first time that they'll be heard from. It's the first time that anyone has a chance to represent them in the courts. They're barely even mentioned. It's just kind of the state versus Catherine. Right. And it's almost like they don't matter when we walk in those walls. So that's kind of the goal today, is to give them representation and give them a voice.
In the years that you've joined us, Troy, I've just always been very moved by your optimism here. How are you feeling now after all these years about what happened to your children?
It's indescribable, you know, to have your kids taken from you that way, and to have them be so young and just be gone. But at the same time, you know, we're not going to give up on them. We're going to continue to fight for them, and quite frankly, moving forward, fight to make sure that other kids, other victims in this type of situation don't have less rights than the person who has victimized them.
In all these years, have any credible accounts or anybody calling in with tips come in to say, yeah, actually the children, she did take them to somebody's, and I don't know where they are now, but any credible accounts?
No, there's nothing credible for that. It's not, I don't believe it's a logical conclusion at this point. Okay. Like I've said in the past, you know, no father ever wants to admit that his kids are gone, but at this point, it's the logical conclusion is that Catherine killed my children. And I mean, as far as credible tips go, the most credible thing that's out there would be that she has at some point said that to someone.
So today, the argument will be made by her lawyers that she should be set free.
It'll be to drop the charges. As far as her being set free, I guess that would be on Perkins if they were going to civilly commit her or not. Okay. It depends on if they deem her a danger to herself or others. We believe that she's been manipulating the system and the people around her the entire time. So,
do you believe that?
Oh, 100%.
Why do you say that?
I had conversations with her over the first few years, and she's always known everything that as we put it, she check marks all the boxes to be competent. She understands what's going on in the courts. She understands who everyone is, what she's charged with, what the consequences are. She's fully capable. They're saying she's not capable of helping in her defense. She's fully capable of assisting in her own defense. She would tell me on the phone, I can't talk about that. This is what I can talk about. Or it's just very frustrating.
If the charges are dropped, what would you like to see happen to Catherine Hoggle moving forward?
What I would like to see happen is that they would be repressed as soon as there's a chance to bring her to competency or to show that she is competent.
What will your testimony be today when you get the chance to speak?
It's going to be primarily, I guess it would be about the fact that they haven't had a voice in this whole situation. They're the victims and they haven't had a voice. That you know, my fear is that the courts are going to allow this person who's manipulated the system to further manipulate the system to the point to where one day she's walking around and she's free, and now my older son is in danger. That's it's the primary goal, you know, is to defend the rights and protect Sarah and Jacob in a way, and to protect their older brother who's home.
And all of this court proceeding and the rest of it still does not answer the question, as my colleague Melanie Alnwick phrased out in the field today covering this, of where the kids are. What happened to the kids?
No, and she refuses to say to this day. She still hasn't said. And I mean, no one is, it doesn't feel like anyone is trying to help get there. Outside of, you know, we have our supporters and things like that. And, you know, and as I've said in the past, you know, I appreciate you guys. The local media has been amazing with helping me keep them out there. But the people who have the power to help the people, you know, who would be expected to help, no one's helping.
Right. Troy, we'll be there today covering the proceedings, and we will speak with you again. Thank you for joining us this morning. Yeah, the one thing I'd like to say is just I'd like to thank everyone who has supported us. And, you know, at 12:30 we'll be gathering in front of the courthouse to pray that the judge gains the wisdom to make the right choice, and that my kids will be heard. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.